Our journey begins at an altitude of over 3,000 meters. These majestic mountain chains are known as the Japanese Alps. It is here, in the heart of Japan's main island, Honshu, that green reaches its peak. Surrounded by these giants lies a tiny village of hardcore mountain dwellers. They have been building straw houses for 300 years. This village is called Shirakawago. Hisashi Shirogi is a guide. He has returned to live in the village where he was born.
I have been reunited with the landscape I grew up with. Tokyo was full of buildings. It pains to even think about it. I'm exaggerating, but I feel at home here.
This landscape has been designated a World Heritage Site. It is these houses, these Gassho-zukuri, which give it this sought-after classification.
I want to explain to you where the name Gassho-zukuri comes from. Gassho means to form a triangle with your hands. You could translate it as to join your hands. That's the shape of our sloping roofs. If I was to take a cross-section of the roof, it would form a 60-degree angle. It would be like an equilateral triangle. The village looks so green at the moment. People don't realize, but Shirakawago can get buried in snow. Sometimes we get 2 meters of snow. So the roofs get covered in snow, which needs to be cleared. This sharp angle means that the snow falls off of its own accord, which is convenient. That doesn't happen with normal roofs. That's where the name comes from. There is something else about them which is special, and that's the material used for the roof covering. These are actually dried reeds. In our local dialect, this plant is called kaya. The lifespan of a roof is about 30 years. Once it's damaged, it has to be redone.
Only about 100 villagers still live in these houses built from natural resources. One of them is Masahito Wada. He has even turned his house into a museum.
The Wada family's house is classified as a historic monument. It was built about 300 years ago. It is one of the biggest houses in our region. When I was a boy, the house was just where we lived, but now it is open to the public and to visitors. To begin with, it was unsettling, because it's my home, it's where I live, and yet I have to put up with visitors and noise. It wasn't easy to start with, but 20 years later, I have grown used to it, and now I delight in the fact that people come to visit the place and learn about the history and culture of these Gassho-zukuri houses.
This is a 2-story house. The families live on the ground floor. They follow a certain protocol.
This door was used for grand occasions. There is a period in the history of my family when my ancestors worked for the government, managing a small dam. Because of their job, high-ranking officials would come to the house. This entrance was reserved for them. On this side, there is a small garden. Since Shirakawago is such a snowy region, very few houses have gardens. But since we used to receive high-ranking officials, we benefited from this type of privilege. It's summer now, so everything is green. The landscape is sublime.
It is on the second story, under the roof, that the real benefit of these straw houses is to be found. For centuries, these sloping roofs have been the breeding ground for a tiny creature which made Japan famous in Europe in the Middle Ages, the silkworm.
These silkworms hatched 4 or 5 days ago. It will take about a month for them to grow big enough to build their cocoons. In winter, Shirakawago is a snow-covered village situated at the foot of these mountains with very little soil, so it's hard to survive outdoors. As a result, we developed 2 indoor activities. The first is the breeding of silkworms in the upper stories of our houses. People bred silkworms, and the sale of the silk cocoons provided a source of income. The other source of income came from the basement. By digging up the ground beneath our feet, my ancestors buried silkworm droppings along with plant waste and human urine. The decomposition and fermentation process carried out by the bacteria in the soil produced very good fertilizer, which was a potassium nitrate equivalent.
The inhabitants of Shirakawago look on the green side of life. They are sheltered by roofs made of dried green grasses, and they feed on these bright green plants from their rice fields.
In summer, the green of the fields really stands out. Added to that, you've got the khaki green of the Gassho-zukuri houses. In this season, it is the contrast between the greens and the browns that I find so beautiful. Some of the rice we harvest is for our own consumption. The rest is harvested to be sold. This region isn't really suitable for rice growing. As you can see, we are surrounded by mountains. Our elders had to flatten out the landscape to create these rice fields. In the past, it was a struggle to find fields to grow rice in. If there was a famine caused by a cold summer, that had dire consequences. There are written documents stating that 100 inhabitants died out of 120. The rice fields are indispensable. These green plants are our staple diet. They are inextricably linked to our lifestyle. I myself have rice fields.
Shirakawago symbolizes the perfect union between human beings and nature. They coexist here in perfect harmony.
It's not just the Gassho-zukuri buildings that are World Heritage Sites. It is also the rural landscapes, these ancient lands, and, added to that, the collective effort of the local population. I call it yui. That's Japanese for to tie. The combined effort of maintaining the Gassho-zukuri and this benevolent spirit of mutual assistance the fact that this ancestral spirit, this tradition prevails, all that has helped make our Japanese Alps one of the wonders of the world.